Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at the 1 to 5 player game, Photographic World, published by Bright Beetle Games. So let's go ahead down to the table here. Now, to keep in mind, this is going to be a preview of the game because this is a prototype. I'm going to give you a general overview of how the game plays, and then we're going to come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is what a typical setup of Photographic World would look like. Now, keep in mind this is a prototype game, so all this is subject to change. The art could change, the cards can change, all this can change, and the rules that I'm going to go over to give you an overview of how the game plays could also change. So keep that in mind, but the goal of this preview is just so you get a gist of how the game plays. Now, the game is a 1 to 5 player game. The designer is currently working on a solo mode. When that comes out, we might do a video on the solo mode itself. But for now, we're just going to go over the 5-player game of Photographic World. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you are, I believe, 2 to 3 players, you're going to get rid of these second most bonus cards. But we're going to go over setup here in a second. But basically, just to introduce, in Photographic World, you are wildlife photographers. Your job is to travel the world capturing exceptional photos of animals in their natural habitat. Every unique photo you take increases your fame. Travel to the ocean to hunt for the best photograph of the great white shark. Head over to Australia to snap a fantastic photo of a kangaroo and her joey. Continue to Asia to see the Royal Bengal tiger. You can visit the current tourist attractions in the continent to gain photos that you need, but only 1 fame point you will gain for this. Or you can head out to the wilderness and snap a photo of whatever you find there. Doing this gains you more fame. Will you become the wildlife photographer of the year? And that is the introduction of Photographic World. So the objective of this game is to become the wildlife photographer of the year. By traveling around the world, and you're going to take different pictures at the different continents that you're at. Every unique photograph, which is only going to count unique photographs of each one, you're going to try to get these best in class certificates up top. So you're going to try to get them for reptiles, mammals, birds, amphibians, insects, and fish. Once these have been all collected, the game will end, and the player with the most fame points will win. And you also get fame points for having the most and second most in World Traveler. And we'll explain how you get those in a second. But just to go over some components in the game, you're going to have a board, you're going to have some pawns. These are your continent cards. The white border cards are your tourist cards, and the black border ones are your continent cards. You have your market deck, and you have your bonus cards. So you have your most, second most, and World Traveler. At the start of the game, you're going to set it up as you've seen here for 4 to 5 player game. You're going to keep the second most. Anything less, you're going to get rid of those for those bonuses. You're going to flip over the top card. These are going to be face up, sorry. The tourist cards. So everyone will be able to see these face up. And these are a very much smaller deck than all the rest. And then each player is going to select which continent they wanted to start on. Once they've done that, you're going to take a photograph from each of the continent decks right here that has a player on it and place it on face up on the market board. So for example, we have someone in North America. So we're going to take one of these and place it face up in the market board. We have someone in Europe. So we're going to go ahead and get one of those. We have someone in Asia. So we'll get one of these. We have someone in Africa. So South Africa. Well, we have someone in Africa, sorry. And then we have someone in South America. So That's going to be the setup of our market board. And let's go ahead and get in how you're going to take your turns. So in this game, the youngest player is going to go first. You're going to take these 2 dice here, and you're going to roll it on your turn. And depending on the results on here is what you're going to get to do. You get to do each die separately. Now we're going to go over what each of these faces will actually do. Now on this one face, which there's only a number 1, you get to move 1 space in any direction on the board. If for some reason you were lucky and you rolled 2 ones, so snake eyes, you get to enact the travel rule. Now, for the travel rule in general, just remember this rule, that you have to roll the 2 ones. You can't roll the wild card or anything else. You have to roll the 2 ones. If you do that, you can enact the travel rule. And simply what that means is you may move your pawn to any space on the board, so anywhere on the board that doesn't have another player, and take a photo from the corresponding continent deck. That would be taking the top card from here. Once you take any of these photo cards, you're going to put them face up in front of you. And you'll do this instead of carry out both actions separately. So that'll be 1 action per your turn. You get to jump to any continent and just take the top card from the continent deck. Otherwise, like I said, if you roll a 1 and you just take it separately, you're going to move 1 space. The next thing you can roll is going to be the shopping cart. So the shopping cart, why can I? There's a lot of pictures ones. The shopping cart's here. And the shopping cart will allow you to go to the marketplace. So you could choose to do a couple different things, 1 or 2 different things on the marketplace. You can take a card from the market, so you can take one of these cards, or you can sell a card to the market. If you sell a card to the market, you simply just get to roll your dice again, which is really cool. You get to do more stuff. And that's your reward for selling a card. Now, why would you sell a card to the market? Well, duplicate cards in this game mean nothing. So if you have any duplicate cards, you're going to want to sell them to the market so you get that bonus in it and you get to do something with those. So that's the idea of why you would sell duplicate cards in the game. But when you do, try to sell the duplicate card that's worth the least amount of money. All right, the next thing you can roll is the camera action, and that's going to be on the most sides of the dice. If you roll a camera action, you can take a card from the continent deck matching the continent that you're on. Place the photo face up in front of you. If you roll 2 camera cards, you just simply could do the action twice, so you can take 2 camera cards. Same thing with the market. You can take the market action twice if you rolled it twice. Tourist cards, which are these guys right here, worth 1 point. And these cards here, the continent cards, have all different point values. I think they're mainly 2 through 4, but you can see the points right here on them. And like you can see on the tourist cards, you can see the points right here on them. And one of the advantages are like, why would you ever get tourist cards? Well, you're trying to aim to get these best-in-class certificates. So you're trying to claim these guys. And once all these are claimed again, the game ends. But, so like here you're going after fish. You get to get 3 unique fish photos to be able to do that. The last thing you could roll on these dice is the question here. And this is just a random one. You could pick what you want to do. And like I said, as soon as you have 3 unique animals in one of the classes, so mammals, reptiles, etc., you could take the corresponding best in certificate class if it exists. These are all worth 7 fame points. Okay? So let's go ahead back real quick and we're going to talk about how to score in this game, and then we're going to go into the end portion of the game. So how you're going to gain fame points again is you're going to get these best in class certificates. You're going to get fame points from your photos. You're going to get bonus cards. So if by the end of the game you have photographed at least 1 animal in each of the 7 continents, you're going to get this World Traveler bonus card. So everyone who has at least 1 photo from every continent will get that. The next thing you could get is having the most unique animals in each continent. So if you have the most in a continent, you're going to get, and you can see the little picture of the continent on the card here, you're going to get the most, which is worth, I don't know, this is going to be worth 5 points. If you have the second most, again, this is going to be in a 4 to 5 player game, you'll get 3 points. There are tiebreakers for those, and we're going to go over those in a second. If there is a tie, add up the fame points you have in the continent in question. So if we're having South America and we have the tie for the most unique photos, we're going to add up the fame points. So if you had a whole bunch of these tourist cards, you're probably going to lose that tiebreaker, and that person will win that card, whether it's the most or second most. If there's still a tie, no one's going to win it. You're going to just return this to the board. So that's it for the general overview of the game. One thing I wanted to mention is that this game here also doubles as an educational game that you can use to learn about the 41 different animals, where they live, and how to classify them. You can do like a social studies lessons on this, and you can do, for very young children, you can do like a mathematics class on how to do addition. So basically this game is also meant to help kids learn new things, learn more about animals, and to also have a fun and enjoyable and engaging game. So we're going to go ahead back up to the table here, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on Photographic World. Okay, so I like Photographic World. It is a great kids game. I like how you get to roll the dice and get 2 different actions on your turn, or take that one travel roll special action. I like collecting the different animal cards on there, and I like working towards those best in certificates and deciding how you want to move around the board. Now keep in mind, like, this is going to be a family weight kids game, and in that it does really well. I think that it would be a fun, engaging game for any kid that loves wildlife. It has good mechanics behind it too, which I'm very appreciative of. So again, I want to say, like, keep in mind that this is a prototype of the game, so anything that you saw on there is subject to change. Especially like the components, and even as a prototype the components are pretty good, but I can't judge the components because it's not a final copy. But I will say that I am very hopeful to see the final version of this game. I like it a lot. I think that it's one that I will play with my kids pretty frequently. So that's my thoughts on Photographic World. Great kids game, great family weight game, and I can't wait to see how this evolves through the Kickstarter and such. So thank you for watching.